Today on Northland Outdoors, it's a fowl and fish combo. First, we'll travel to Devil's Lake, North Dakota for a fast-action, early-season waterfowl hunt. Then we'll go on the water to target a fish that frustrates most anglers, but is one of my all-time fish-catching favorites, the northern pike.
And when I get done showing you how to clean them, there's almost nothing that eats any better.
It's Devil's Lake diver ducks and soft plastics for pike right now on Northland Outdoors. It's October in one of the premier outdoors destinations in the Northland, Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Yes, the fishing this time of year can be incredible, but when the leaves fall and the weather cools, the endless acres of water and farmland that make up the Devil's Lake Basin become the temporary home of hundreds of thousands of migrating waterfowl. And it is a waterfowl hunter's dream.
In 45 minutes, we had a limit of redheads and half a limit of cans. It happened hot and heavy and fast. And that lake, right around sunset, we've had some amazing shoots out there.
Levi Nagel is a 20-something waterfowl fanatic who's part of a group that I call the Young Guns. These are the next generation of waterfowl hunters, carrying on the age-old traditions of not only hunting ducks, but putting in the work to do it on your own. Devil's Lake is an ideal destination for that.
Yeah, there's opportunity. You just got to be willing to kind of hit the road and go find it. And, you know, sometimes there's a little legwork involved. You might have to walk in a little ways or bust some cattails or something. But, you know, a guy can come out with a couple dozen mallard decoys and a spinner and have a hell of a time if he's willing to put the time in. So. And just the abundance of species, you know, you could shoot probably 20 different species of waterfowl out here. So it's really just kind of an unmatched area just in terms of what you get to see, the numbers of what you get to see, and all that sort of stuff.
Like any hunting excursion, our first goal is to gather information. So on our first morning, Levi has us set up on a large, centrally located body of water. A perfect location to get a feel for what ducks are here and what they're doing.
Yep, I got one behind us. Nice work, boys.
Good boy. Good boy, huh? Good boy. Oh, yep. Good boy. Good boy. Come here.
Oh, I blew mine behind it. Well, pretty solid morning, really.
Yeah, can't complain.
You know, I mean, we got
blind, so
about a dozen ducks here, just a little bit of everything. And look at this beautiful canvasback and green-winged teal and bluebills and everything else. So now what's the plan?
Now we hit the road, go find some ducks that we can shoot more than one a piece of. So.
Right. So move and do some scouting and look for ducks, and then try to get set up where they want to go, I suppose.
Huh? That's the goal. Just go find. I'd like to find some redheads, more cans maybe, and I mean if we come across some mallards or a widgeon or something, we'll consider that too. But
Yeah, we're not picky.
no, we'll take whatever will come. So.
All right, well, let's get all those decoys out, one or two.
Yeah, just a couple.
When Northland Outdoors returns, our Devil's Lake early season waterfowl hunt continues. And later, we're on the hunt for fast action pike.
There's one right there.
Ray's Sport and Marine is your family-owned local headquarters for fishing and pontoon boats. From brands such as Lund, Crestliner, Viaggio, Bennington, and more. Stop in today to check out our great selection of 2025 models and get out on the water this summer. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the perfect boat. Ray's Sport and Marine, your pontoon and fishing boat headquarters. Now open in Alexandria.
We are out on a splendid Sunday morning. We're gonna go catch some fish.
You come to a place like Devil's Lake and you hear stories, you want to get out there and you want to find a monster.
Everything that you read about Devil's Lake, it's true.
I've been guiding up here for almost 15 years, and it is absolutely the most astounding fishery that I've ever been to, and I've been all over the U.S.
I reeled in the biggest one of my life. That was a pretty special experience to me.
Plan your next adventure at devilslakend.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward. It's a pre-dawn full moon morning in Devil's Lake, and we're back on the hunt for early season waterfowl. After an extensive scouting mission the afternoon before, we've set up on a smaller body of water that had been loaded with ducks. When hunting diver duck species like bluebills, canvasbacks, and buffleheads, a large decoy spread can be effective, so we have several dozen decoys on the water.
Ah, they snuck right up on us.
Another key to effectively decoying these birds is adding motion to your spread. Levi employs a RoboDuck spinning wing decoy and a variety of small flicker spinners throughout to simulate landing birds and feeding activity.
Yeah, right here, Doug. Good boy. Good dog. Look at this one. This is what we're here for. That is a stud. Bodie, place. Yeah, that is a beautiful bird right there. Wow. There's just a level of pride that you get when you go make it happen on your own. You go find a spot somewhere and you figure out how to set up and you do it right, and you know, you fail a lot, but once it finally works, you know, it makes it 10 times sweeter for me at least.
So we just finished up morning number 2 here, our Devil's Lake waterfowl adventure. And Levi it started out a little slow.
Yeah, I was a little worried at first.
But we ended up with another great shoot, 4 or 5 different species of duck, and a captive with just a beautiful mature canvasback.
About as nice as they come here. So.
Yeah, beautiful.
On your own do-it-yourself waterfowl hunting, it's a great, relatively low-cost way to get some great shooting, especially over water. And no place combines abundant public water access and thousands of migrating birds better than Devil's Lake, North Dakota. When we come back, we shift from hunting ducks to hunting pike. It's non-stop hand-to-hand combat when Northland Outdoors returns.
Muscatel Burns Ford is your Ford truck headquarters in Hawley. Be sure to check out our selection on-site or online. Ask about complimentary local pickup and delivery for your next oil change. We're newly expanded to serve you even faster. New or used for work or play, Muscatel Burns Ford on Highway 10 in Hawley. Hey, get your next Ford from Ward.
This segment of Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Devil's Lake, North Dakota. With something for everyone in every season. Discover your next adventure in Devil's Lake. Welcome back to Northland Outdoors. If you're a regular viewer of our show, then you know I have one simple rule when it comes to fishing. Don't be a fish snob. If it bites and it fights, then it's awesome.
Not a bad one. Jumper. All right. I want to introduce you to an old friend of mine. This is Mr. Northern Pike. Esox lucius if you're Latin. Okay? Now, nearly 100% of the fishing population gets really angry when they catch this guy. Never mind the fact that he bites like crazy, fights even crazier. So let's talk a little bit about Northern Pike. I'm telling you folks, they get an absolute horrible rap. That most people, and I get it, they're out targeting walleyes or some other species, largemouth bass, and pike are toothy, they are slimy, they come by some of their nicknames very easily for the way they act, but they are an incredible sport fish to target because they fight so hard and they are so aggressive. You want to talk about a fish to get young people involved in fishing? These small northern pike, fantastic, because you can catch them with so many different things and in so many different ways. There's one right there. The thing about these fish too, there's never any questions, right? Well, you're never gonna, when you're fishing pike, you're never gonna say, oh, I got a nibble. Okay, there's no nibbling. They absolutely whack it, okay? Now this lake is really typical of all the lakes we're talking about. That is what I'm gonna say is an average pike in this particular lake. 20 inches, maybe, okay? And there are hundreds of thousands of them in here, okay? It makes fishing for anything else difficult, okay? Which is why we have to think about targeting them once in a while and starting to catch a few more. And it is fun. Like I said, it's just a really... Dave, you having fun?
I am having a
Dave's having fun, right? And so that's good.
Again, this is the 4-inch power bait ripple shad. Has great tail action as it comes through the water. One thing to keep in mind is always give yourself a big enough jig head to control the plastic. By that I mean, this is a full ½ ounce jig. Pretty heavy jig for most people who do jig fishing. But in order to get the right action out of this bait, you need that heavy jig, A, to make super long casts, and secondly, the key triggering aspect of a paddle tail plastic like this is not necessarily the rip when it goes up and swims, but when you let it fall. And if the jig head is too light, the tail won't have any action. It'll just fall slow like this. But with a heavy enough jig head, it falls fast enough and that tail really rips, okay? So a good heavy jig, swim bait style jig. Also, it doesn't hurt to have a big wide hook gap like you get with this ½ ounce Fusion 19 swim bait jig. So that's the technique that we're using. I love it simply due to the multi-species aspect of this. We'll catch everything that swims out here on these.
Give me another walleye. Ah, dang, beautiful walleye too, big one. Wow. Here, baby. Oh, you got him. Get him up here. Fish deep. Now that fish, look at this. You don't think plastics catch fish? Okay. There's a 25, 26 inch walleye right there. And that fish ate that beautiful fire tiger swim bait in 5 feet of water at what, 3 o'clock in the afternoon under a bright sunny day. Okay. Oop. There we go. That one hit it twice. Whacked it once, kept reeling. He came and whacked it again. When these fish get up shallow, both the pike and the walleyes, when they get up shallow like this, they're up here for one reason and one reason only. There's a jumper. And that is to feed. So they're going to be really aggressive. Another super shallow water fish. Another really good eater.
The pike are on fire, and we're well on our way to a classic Northland fish fry. But how do we clean these bony pike? We'll show you when we come back.
The spine, the main spine.
Fish the famous waters on Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, the walleye capital of the world. Choose from over 50 full-service resorts with options for charter fishing, guide service, and full meal plans, or plan a trip and relax in the vast wilderness scenery. From the northwest angle to the south shore, Rainy River and Baudette, the Midwest's #1 fishing destination. Walleye, sauger, northern pike, and more. Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, best fishing anywhere. Log on to lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward. We're tangling with eater-sized northern pike, casting big paddle-tail plastics on 1/2 ounce swim jigs. We're targeting large submerged weed beds, and the pike are responding to an aggressive jigging action with a hard snap and a slow fall on a tight line.
There we go. Go, it's been non-stop, and that's the thing about these fish. Look at that. Later. All been pretty much cookie cutters. This is a fatty. And here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna say. Is if you go out to target pike, there's never gonna be a day where you say, well, they're just not biting. Because that just doesn't exist with these aggressive predator fish. And I don't know, we fished maybe 2 hours, and I suppose we've caught 25, 30 of them, you think?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Non-stop action. And they're even good, I promise, when you get back to shore. And that's where we're headed next. Stay tuned. We're gonna head back to shore. I'm gonna show you how to clean these things up so they are as good on the plate as any other fish. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we had a great couple hours throwing those big swim baits out in the middle of the day. Got some beautiful fish, walleyes, and of course our undersized pike. Now I'm going to show you how I clean a pike, and I guarantee you, if you follow this method, you're not going to find any bones in your meat, and it is going to be great eating. So let's show you how this works. So here's how we're going to start. I'm going to start by not lay it on its side, where most people will take a fillet like this, right? We're going to start with him on his stomach, and we're going to take off what I call the back straps, this back area here. We'll start right behind the head, cut down, okay, to the spine, the main spine, and then straight across till we get to that rear dorsal fin, and then come back up. We end up with the back straps of the pike. Now we're going to take the tail section from the front of the dorsal back to the tail fin. is all boneless anyway. So we're gonna fillet that just like we would normally fillet something, down and out to the side. All right, now we have the sides. And this is the problem with the pike. This is where they have all these Y bones, giant Y bones, the main spine. And then as if you look closely, you can see there's another faint line right here. Those are the Y bones, here and here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay the fillet on its side, okay? We're gonna find this line of Y bones and we're gonna cut just to the outside of that line of Y bones, all the way here. I'm gonna make one cut to separate it from the head area. Now we're gonna continue down that line of Y bones. And there we have it. Now we're gonna cut that off. And there we have another side of side meat. All of this is bony material. That's the part of the pike nobody likes. Flip him over and we repeat the process over here. Find that outside Y bone line, cut right along it, and there's our second side meat, and that's it. Now it's just a matter of skinning out these pieces. This last piece, the back that we took off, does still have a line of bones right down the middle. You can see it plain as day. So here's the trick with this. Before we skin it, we're gonna just cut right along one side of that line of bones down to the skin, not all the way through, okay? And then we're gonna make a cut down the other side of that line of bones. Again, just through the meat, not all the way down through, okay? So now we have that cut like this. Now we'll skin it. And once it's skinned, we can pull that strip of bones out, gone, and we have two beautiful boneless pieces of meat right there. And there you have it, boneless pike. And that's only about what was that, maybe a 22-inch fish, not a giant fish. Look at all the meat there, okay? That's why we keep them, folks, and that's why we should.
So as someone who loves to fish, you're out of excuses. Eater-sized pike are super fun to catch, easy to clean, and taste great. The best part is, the more of these undersized pike we take out of the lake, the more healthy our whole fish population will be. I'm Chad Cool, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Northland Outdoors.